I'm trying to make this a short video. If you want a longer video on the same topic, ask me some questions in the comments section, and I'll make a longer video on this. My wife and I are both educated as musicians, and for a few years I would try to get my wife to more actively listen to One Direction as a technical person, if not as a consumer. I just thought, well, One Direction was that the music is better crafted than perhaps many people realize, and Harry Styles' contribution, I'm not sure, but with the Fine Line album, my wife became a Harry Styles fan, and I became a Harry Styles fan, and my kids became Harry Styles fans. This during the real lockdown part of the 2020 lockdown here, and my hypothesis for why many people became fans of the Fine Line album is basically this: that a lot of pop music, not all of it, but a lot of pop music either uses this conspicuously or uses this implicitly. Things that are in a major or minor key, even if they don't really hit this very much, nonetheless have this implicit dominant function, which to many listeners creates a sense of urgency, and in many cases, urgency is a favorable aesthetic. But during a COVID lockdown, not so much. People stuck at home trying to relax and not think about what's going to happen next. Maybe they don't need this cognitive component of somebody constantly thinking, trying to get them to think, what's next? What's next? It's coming. It's coming. You know it's coming. But I've never been that huge a fan of dominant function myself. So for me, Fine Line was a natural thing for me. For my wife, somewhat less, but she became interested in it before I did, and that's fine. What I noticed though was she'd say, "Josh, listen to this track. What the heck is going on here? What's happening in this track?" And I go, wow. So there, I like every track on the album, some more than others. But for somebody studying music theory, I would suggest these 4 tracks as a starting point to try to understand what modes, as they are currently used, sound like, or what they can sound like. Even in the cases of very old medieval music, there's still some disagreement among very high-level scholars about what mode is actually represented by certain pieces of music. And so if you want to debate with me, whether these tracks are really in these modes, that's fine. We don't need to be in complete agreement. But it's worth considering. And the opinions I'm going to offer are these. Sunflower is in Lydian. It sounds a lot like a major key, except that has this kind of brightness because the chord that functions as an implicit final, is what we would normally consider the 4 chord in a major key. So that gives the fourth above the root of that implicit final this brightness. It's this augmented fourth. Does it really do that? Well, okay. Try. If you don't think so, go ahead and fix it for me. Okay. Take the song and fix it so that it's more clearly a major. See if it's an improvement, and explain to me what you did. In the meantime, Mixolydian. First time I heard Golden, I was struck not only by the fact that to my ear it is very Mixolydian, but that other compositional elements are very well selected to combine with my own sense of what Mixolydian should sound like, or has historically been used to sound like. It's the angelic mode, and for me, it sounds like a kind of contentment without excitement or something. I don't know. It's a little the text is not purely that, obviously, but there's an element of patience in it that I think combines very well with the idea that angels are waiting, or that you're going to see angels eventually. I don't know. I'm not a religious person, but as an aesthetic element, I like it very much. Mixolydian. And again, if you don't think it's Mixolydian, show me. Okay, Dorian is the one that I think has been disputed the most. There are a couple of videos, and I'm not gonna cite them, but if you're clever, you can find my comments to videos where people think that they're fixing Watermelon Sugar so that it is actually in a minor key or actually in a major key, and I think both of those things are damaging, okay, to the effect that Styles gets by using Dorian mode. Dorian is a very earnest mode. It is very sober. It is very focused and very mature, and so to use that as a way of providing interest without kind of emotional investment in this Watermelon Sugar text it's ironic, but I think it's very effective, because the text otherwise it might sound too silly, and to be able to take this text and get you to listen to it as if it were something relevant it's an interesting game. To me, that's a measure of how effective it is to use Dorian instead of using a major or a minor key. That would make it sound either absurd or ridiculous in a way that it does not need to. I freely admit that, yeah, the text is nonsense, but it doesn't mean that you can't do something a little bit more three-dimensional with it if you are a clever musician, which Harry seems to be. Okay, Adore You. The last I checked the Wikipedia article on this, it gave the progression, but it inaccurately described the key as being a key, and it's not really a key. It's really a mode. It's Aeolian mode, and to me, this is a very effective use of Aeolian, because not using a leading tone allows it to sound pleading, but not insistent or demanding. And for me, that's better. If you don't agree with me, take Aeolian and raise that leading tone and see what happens to it. It sounds like he's stalking someone. I don't think that's what he wants. I think he wants something that is more of an appeal than a demand. And to me, that works very well. So this is getting to be a kind of a long video, but those are the 4 tracks. Okay, there are other tracks on there. I know TPWK is definitely in a major key, and that's a good use of contrast. There are other things that he does on the album that are also worthy of study, but these 4 tracks specifically I want to point out as examples of modern modal usage. And you can find other pop songs in recent decades that are they're also modal, but it's a pretty conspicuous thing on this album that he uses each of these modes in a way that I think is spectacularly appropriate for the thing that he seems to be trying to do with it, which is sometimes ironic and sometimes not. So yeah, I'm going to cut it here. Thanks for your time.